Hello, this is your psychological mentor, Park Seni. Have you made any firm plans or resolutions for the new year? Today, I'd like to talk a bit about those resolutions. When I was young, on December 31 the adults in my family would gather, and as the New Year's Eve bell rang, they would make resolutions in front of the children. They would bring their cigarettes and crush them right there. While crumpling up the cigarette packs, they declared they were quitting smoking and throw all the cigarettes into the trash can. But a few days later, they were smoking again, everyone. What this means is, I think from a young age, we were influenced negatively by the seeing that adults' bad habits and resolutions are so fleeting and don't last more than a few days. That's what they showed to the children. That's not very adult-like. It would have been better if they had gathered in a room like this and quietly quit smoking without the kids and then smoked again. But they wouldn't have made the kids feel empty and hopeless about their decision. Why did they do it in front of them? It's basically a negative suggestion implying that resolutions don't really matter. Their actions send the same message, and that's the kind of bad influence they're giving. So it's really frustrating. It seems like most people live this way. And when you look at people making resolutions, this is what's wrong. So the very act of waiting for that one time a year to make a resolution is the problem. Resolutions are something you make every moment, continuously, moment by moment. What is it that I want? You have to keep thinking about what your goal is, keep writing it down, watching over it, saying it out loud, and continuously taking those actions. I think I mentioned this in another video as well, but as human beings, we need to focus on what we want. People who always focus on what they want are the ones who succeed, and those who consciously keep thinking about what they want are the ones who succeed. If you haven't been thinking about what you want, it's not just that you didn't think about it if you haven't been focusing on what you want. That means, in other words, your focus is being taken away by things you don't want. To be precise, it's not just that you didn't focus on what you want. As I said, in that moment, your focus was taken away by what you don't want. So no matter what plans you've made, if you don't look at them every day, if you don't repeat them to yourself and keep bringing them to mind every day, it's pretty clear that for the most part, they won't come true. Because now that you have a high level of intelligence, you want to be focused and immersed. But if you don't intentionally direct your focus toward what you want, it's not just that you didn't do it instead. Your days will keep passing by in a state of intense focus and immersion on trivial, unwanted things. That's why you have to keep thinking about what you want and reaffirming and deciding that you want it moment by moment. Now, ordinary people might think that's annoying, difficult, or exhausting, but there's really no other way. You have to keep thinking about what you want. If you just wait for the sound of the bell once a year and make a resolution only at that time, that's where the problem lies. And then there's also a favorite place where people like to make resolutions. The characteristics of people who make resolutions only once a year, I'm not criticizing everyone and I'm not saying everyone is foolish. I hope you don't misunderstand. On December 31 a lot of people head to famous sunrise spots like Jongdongjin or Jumonjin, even getting stuck in traffic jams. But honestly, I never went myself. I could never go because I was always busy. And it's not that going itself is a bad thing, but there are probably a lot of people whose actions there are misguided. For example, some people go there at dawn, their eyes bloodshot from exhaustion, just to witness the majestic first sunrise of January honest, but then end up drinking heavily and toasting endlessly while watching it. If you start the first day of the new year by drinking and partying like that, you end up waking up really late and ruining the very first day of the year. And when you wake up, if you just automatically turn on the TV or check your phone, that's something you do unconsciously. Very much so. Then on New Year's, you see TV hosts like Yoo Jae-suk asking, have you made your New Year's resolutions? All right, New Year's resolutions, so you end up making them while watching TV, but you never write them down. You sit watching, thinking, what are my plans? It passes by, slipping away. So what happens then? Every year ends up being just like the last. Last year is the same as this year, and next year will be the same as this year too. You just keep living a life with no progress. So making resolutions isn't something you do just once a year. It's something you do every moment. And it's not about doing it at some designated place like Jongdongjin, where you can see the sunrise well. You have to keep making resolutions wherever you are, in every place you find yourself. Only then can you truly reap the rewards of your resolutions. Everyone, make resolutions every moment. I'm also going to share a new resolution of mine with you all this year so that I can't back out of it. Even though I'll be very busy again this year, I will definitely write one more book this year. My previous book, well, it's been a few years now. I think it was in 2013, Don't Study to Hypnosis. I really hope you all read this book many, many times, over and over again. But aside from this book, I will also work hard to publish another great book within this year. By declaring it like this, I'm making it so that I have no choice but to keep going. So I'm making this promise in front of you all, and I will make it happen. Everyone, never forget your goals. Keep thinking about them, keep repeating them to yourself, and keep extending the time you can focus solely on them. I truly hope that this year, unlike any other, you will achieve what you genuinely desire in an amazing way. Alright, if you found this video helpful, please subscribe, like, and turn on notifications. Always stay strong. Thank you.